They can move through the snow like a fish
Nobody
through
believes
water.
they existed first.
Yeah. And someone gets their arms ripped off and murdered violently.
Rated R. Wampa.
But like that here we're laughing. Like, I mean, so
sure.
they're never going to do a horror movie. They're never going to do a
sure.
comedy. The most we're going to get is drama, and this is close to drama, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
a gritty war film, even though there's no real war.
well, there is.
There's people on the ground shooting each other. It's not an outright war. I mean, it's Star Wars, but...
I think
Look, there's Jimmy Smits. The prequels happened. They happened.
well, yeah. And this lady who plays Mon Mothma was in Star Wars Episode 3
Really?
as young Mon Mothma.
I think that was a deleted scene.
It was a
right?
cut scene, yeah. It was an early, like, her and there's an old black guy with the beard. Bunch of characters like that were like the early formations of the rebellion, and they had a little meeting with Padme. And that's the same actress from 05.
Why didn't they just do a CG face on the actress from the original film?
Oh, because this works so much better. And it's not horribly distracting or embarrassing. Yeah. But here's Alan Tudyk in a robot costume. Oh, wait, no. Motion capture.
Mocap?
You know, he was there in like a surfer suit.
Just as like a reference for body movement and stuff?
And he had like stilts on his feet and like walking around. I'm like, well, what? Like we with the little motion capture balls all over his body and just like wearing like a wetsuit, skin tight wetsuit, walking around. And I was like, wait a minute, like that robot, like his arms are real thin, and they had to like digitally like remove him from everything. Like, what a big fucking pain in the ass. I guess
that's why movies cost so much.
I guess, yeah. I wonder what the budget for this was compared to Force Awakens.
It was worth it. The CG on that robot's not terrible, man.
No, it looks great. It's like perfect.
Yeah.
And he's the best character in the movie.
He's your comic relief.
He's your funny droid. Not the most original character in a Star Wars movie, but
no.
At least there's some levity. And he's the only one with any sort of character arc.
Yeah. No one has a character arc.
You don't need it because they're all going to die at the end, so you shouldn't have a character arc.
No.
What about when Donnie Yen learns to use the Force? Oh, wait, he did that in his first scene.
That's true. That's true. Didn't anybody say K2SO sounds exactly like C3PO? Or was that okay?
I'm sure they were okay with that being the case. It sounds like him, but it's a different guy doing the voice, so it's okay.
Now they're blasting off to go somewhere. So, in case you're wondering, the chain of events goes...
Hey, remember this shot?
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Galen Erso whispers into the ear of Bodhi, the pilot, we got a Death Star coming. Look out. Bodhi then flees and goes to the rebellion, I think, right? Where does he go? And he tells everybody that the Death Star is going to happen. And then...
He goes to Saul Guerrero.
That's this scene.
Oh, yeah. No, but the rebellion goes and rescues Jyn Erso from the jail cell so that she could tell them where Saul Guerrero is.
Yes.
I guess Bodhi already knows where Saul Guerrero is. But Galen Erso sent Saul Guerrero a hologram explaining the Death Star weakness, right? Rich is falling asleep. And then, so the rebellion rescues Jyn Erso and says, you got to do this thing. I guess they threaten her, but what are they going to do? Return her to the Empire? It's not very nice. But anyways, so they rescue her to help them find Saul Guerrero, because Saul Guerrero knows where Galen Erso is. He tells them that he's on the Rainy Planet. and they have to get Gale and Urso. Why? Does anybody remember?
Josh?
I'm trying to. Oh my god!
I didn't even remember a character from this movie. We were shooting Best of the Worst recently, and Mike was quizzing me on characters, and he was talking about the pilot. I was like, who are you talking about? I did not even remember this person existed. Because this movie doesn't really have a story. It just has a series of events. It all feels like it should be a part of a larger story or a backstory that's told over the opening crawl of another film.
Right.
There's not enough meat in here as its own thing.
As you said, Mike, this should have been like Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 in space.
Yes. Yeah, if you're telling an unnecessary story, at least make it fun.
Yeah.
Or Mission Impossible.
Right. Ocean's 11 is wonderful. Those three films, all three of them, I love them all.
Yeah.
There's wonderful little scenes in there where they're planning and training for their heist, and they get the Chinese acrobat as one of their team members because he's the guy who could fit through this thing and do a backflip from one thing to the other, and everyone has their job. Really.
Oh my God! It's fucking Peter Cushing's corpse.
Oh God!
See, the CG itself looks good. The distracting part is the uncanny valley effect, where like the mouth doesn't quite look right, and the eyes are dead.
I don't think he looks good. He looks too cartoonish.
He looks better than Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy.
Your point?
This bad thing looks better than this other bad thing.
This right here just took me directly out of the freaking movie. It was so off-putting and distracting.
Yeah, well, and also I just think it sets kind of a creepy precedence of like in a Star Wars movie in 30 years, are we going to be doing like a CG Mark Hamill? Like, just cast new actors. It's not that important to be that dependent on the past. Cast another actor.
Yeah, the Mon Mothma example is perfect.
Yeah, people would be willing to accept that, and it's fine. It's like, I don't know. And then Disney made a point of saying after Carrie Fisher died that they were not going to have a CG Carrie Fisher out of respect for her. But it's like, well, how long is that going to last?
Where's your fucking respect for Peter Cushing?
Exactly.
Well, he's an old, weird, crazy British white guy. It's okay.
He didn't agree to star in a movie.
Well, there's that too. That aspect of like, who owns his image? Like, can they just do that?
Well, his estate does, which is his family, who got a giant check.
I guess.
So they are okay with him being in a movie.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. It says with special thanks to Peter Cushing, something, some kind of lettering after it. So his estate. Really, you have to get permission.
Sure.
Clearly.
Oh yeah.
And permission comes with a gigantic check that's slid across the table. So yeah, really, it's like. But I think at this point, it probably was okay anyways. Maybe contracts now with actors are like, yeah, we can do anything we want in the future. Sign this.
I think I heard maybe it was around the time that this came out because of the Peter Cushing thing that actors are starting to put stuff in their contracts for these larger movies.
Yeah.
That have stipulations about using their likeness long after they're dead.
Yeah, because I'm sure like with Star Wars, it's like, yeah, you sign your likeness away for everything, toys and video games and whatever. Yeah. And so when Peter Cushing signed his contract in the 70s, I'm sure it didn't say...
They were just making this little stupid space movie.
I'm sure, yeah, it didn't have
There's
anything.
no thought about, the fact that it would still be going.
Yeah.
40 years later.
Digital recreation of you was not in the contract. So now it's a little vague, but I'm sure Felicity Jones and these guys all signed things that said, digitally recreate my corpse. Give me that check. Anyway, here we are on planet 6 of 12. Okay. All right. Where I was about to say something. I don't remember what it was.
Were you going to talk about how bored you are?
This is the first establishment that a fucking Star Destroyer could just float in the atmosphere.
I didn't even think about
Hello, base at Hoth.
My God, I never thought of that.
Fucking park that thing in front of their shield generator.
Has anyone brought this up before now?
Who knows?
I never thought about that.
They could have, you know what? They could have got shot by that big gun thing. They had a big gun thing, didn't they?
They had a big
They had
gun.
an ion cannon.
Yeah.
They use it in this film, Rich, at the end. Don't you remember?
If the Star Destroyer tried to land on Hoth, they would have shot it with the ion.
Then why didn't they
It
shoot the
makes-
ion
then-
cannons at the AT-AT walkers?
You know what? They didn't design it to shoot down, Mike. It was a horrible, glaring design flaw.
There's lots of those in the Star Wars universe.
All right, we'll ignore this. We'll ignore this for now. Okay, so here's our cameo by George Lucas. He's not wearing any pants.
As he does.
He took his shirt off. It was a little hot that day.
Yeah.
He's trying to suck money out of him somehow.
I see they digitally de-aged him.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
This is the second Star Wars movie in a row to have a giant Cthulhu slug monster.
Yes.
I don't know why that's becoming a trend. But this one sucks. What's his name? Bodhi? Is
Yes,
that the pilot?
Bodhi.
Sucks his brain for
Such
no real reason.
Such a memorable character.
It doesn't really lead to anything, right?
Sol Guerrero says, I want to find out if you're lying or not. And I guess I don't know if they ever established whether or not he finds out if he's telling the truth or lying.
They don't.
But he says the unfortunate side effect of ball gullet, that's the name of the monster. He just said it. Is that you will have brain damage, and then later when they're talking to Bodhi in the prison cell, he's a little confused.
Okay.
And then 5 minutes later, he's fine.
So we had that whole scene just for that. Oh, hey, look, it's these guys.
Hey, it's something we remember.
It's Buttface.
It's weird what they're willing to recast and what they're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys are mostly makeup. But they did get the same Buttface back. That's the same actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Punda Babu?
Panda Babu.
The same guy in the mask?
I don't know. I'm saying that's just what the guy looks like, and that's him.
Oh.
That was the goal of that joke, but
That's just really,
It failed.
it did not
bad.
land.
Yeah. So okay, here we are at what's that place called?
Not Mos Eisley?
Mos Eisley Cantina. Mos Eisley.
No, this is a different planet, and the Watch Yourself guy and Buttface, they must have just beat it off this planet immediately after they ran into Jyn Erso.
They must have left, very shortly thereafter because this planet gets wiped out.
Right.
Well, not the whole planet, technically, just the ancient city of Jeddah.
So they got out of the city immediately.
Yeah, and just went right to... We got to find another similar-looking, dusty, nasty town.
That's where they hang out.
Mos Eisley.
It's Chirrut Rirwurwurchit, played by Donnie Yen, who I read something, like an interview with him or something, where he expressed concern that the only reason he was being cast, that they wanted to cast him in this, was so they could get a bigger opening in China. Like, that was a concern of his, because he didn't want to be treated like that, like, almost exploited. But I guess Gareth Edwards convinced him that it would be more of a character, and there's more to him than just that.
So he was conned.
So he was conned into being in Star Wars, yes.
And then the film flopped.
And then the
in
film
China.
did not do well in China.
Those Chinese are very picky.
What movies do well in China? The Transformers movies
Transformers
do
and the
Terminator Genesis.
great. Oh, yeah, that did pretty well.
yeah.
So this movie's not dumb enough. That's the problem. Not that it's a smart movie, but it's not as full of dumb, noisy action.
the Fast and the Furious movies have done well there.
Oh, sure.
There was talk that this latest one is like $1 billion
Okay.
plus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So just gotta roll through with this tank. What these are Saw Gerrera's guys that are like ambushing this tank and stormtroopers. They're there to steal kyber crystals.
What do they need them for?
That's what I was wondering. Because they're transporting kyber crystals, I guess, up to go take up on the Star Destroyer, and then they show them stealing them from the tank. Shouldn't it be Donnie Yen and his friend stealing back the kyber crystals since they were protectors of them?
What?
Well, look, we have to have a battle scene here where
you're
people
right.
shoot space lasers at each other.
It's about time for a battle.
It's about time. And it's a very exciting action scene. Action scenes are always more exciting when you don't care about any of the people or what their goals are.
Yeah. Or have any idea what's happening. Well, I get what's happening. They're attacking the stormtroopers who have a tank. Oh, there's a little crying child, Rich. Jyn Erso is going to save her.
That shows
Why?
that she's humane.
It shows that she cares about people. That was the only heroic thing she did in the film.
Was that one of the reshoots?
Can Jyn do something that's not like horribly selfish or awful?
This is a fine, gritty shootout.
Sure, but like well, that's the thing. You can say all the action sequences in this movie are fine. They're all well done, but you just don't care.
The problem with action scenes, even the best action scene in the world, you need to care about the people involved,
Right.
Yeah.
or it's just noise.
Right. That's movie making 101.
And this isn't obnoxious noise like a Transformers action scene.
No, this is a fairly decent action.
This
scene.
is competent action. But yeah, there's not that connection to the characters or the story to really suck you in and make you give a shit.
Like the plight of these people, I don't care. Jyn Erso, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, you have to care that they're getting the plans to stop the super weapon.
I don't care.
Oh, you don't? I'm rooting for the Empire. No one's told me they're bad yet.
You know they're bad because you've seen Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. This guy's bad to me because he murdered a man. But I guess something Death Star.
Like there is no black and white. I mean, it's not like Star Wars is some kind of like fairy tale fantasy universe.
What?
That George Lucas just reiterated is aimed at 12-year-olds.
With a philosophy of black and white morality. It's not like that's what this is.
Well, that's the weird thing too. Is like people, you say something like that, and I agree. And I think that's why for all the Force Awakens problems, it feels like a Star Wars movie, and you kind of give a shit. You actually like following these characters around. But the people that like this movie and like that it's a little, more ambiguous morally, I guess. Like why do you want that in a Star Wars movie? I'd rather see something like an original science fiction film like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you shoehorn Star Wars into it, it just comes across weird. When you have like a goofy talking robot in the middle of all this.
I don't necessarily blame them for trying. Because otherwise with Star Wars, then you're just remaking the same shit over and over again. At least you're trying to do something totally different. Morally gray with what's his face shooting the guy. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know that it quite worked.
No, it doesn't. But
I will applaud the effort.
And here, this was another, I think, stipulation was that Donnie Yen would get to choreograph his own fight scenes. Or should I say fight scene? Because he has this awesome fight scene, and then that's it. And then he doesn't really do anything for the rest of the movie.
It's such a shame. Well, at the end, he goes and flips the control panel.
Oh, yeah, he walks. He puts his faith in the Force and walks over to it.
Because his faith in the Force is severely lacking here.
Yes, you have to... That's the thing, is like if you maybe make him skeptical or something, and then that's his arc, is that I guess that's Luke.
He lost his faith after the Empire took over.
There you go. And then he learns to get his faith back.
Yeah.
Bam. Character development.
You could have this wonderful scene where Donnie Yen invites him into his little hut to hide.